Okay guys, so welcome back to another edition of the Eric here set. We have done some slight more modifications to this. We've actually maximized some of the damage that we're doing a little bit further. We've changed, this does fire bats damage, we've modified this to do area damage. We've done some stuff like that, so we are pushing a little bit more damage out. But one of the biggest things we've done is we've added Unity to the build. So with Unity, you're actually able to split that with your follower, who has Unity as well, and we've also given him an Oculus ring, which drops a area of effect down, so we can actually do 70% increased damage while we're standing in that. So we've actually, most of the optimization this time around has been used on our follower. He does have the legendary relic that means he cannot die, so that's pretty huge as well. So with everything that we have, I know you see piranhas down there. I was trying to set dungeon and it's just not worth it. It's just an absolute pain. So I'm going back to honored guest. So skill wise for this, what we're looking at is a fairly basic run that we've been doing with this one. So I'll just go over it briefly. We've got the fire bats like we always have with the cloud of bats rune. We've got Locust Swarm running the Cloud of Insects rune. We've got Haunt running the Draining Spirit rune. We've got Hex with the Jinx rune, but that also will have that that Toad of Hugeness. We've got Soul Harvest running Languish for us. We've got Spirit Walk with Honored Guest to go ahead and get that mana regen. We've got our Creeping Death, our Spirit Vessel, our Grave Injustice, and our Confidence Ritual. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop this on down into a Greater Rift level 70, and we are going to see if we can run the solo 70 with this build. I do believe we can do it. I just did a 68 fairly successfully. So we're going to go ahead and take this bad boy out. Now what we're going to be trying to do first on every one of them is we're going to be spreading out that Locust Swarm as fast as humanly possible first. And then from there, we're going to be trying to get stacks built up of that Languish. We're going to be using our Spirit Walk to move us forward. And we're just going to be trying to get these things out as frequently as possible, trying to keep ourselves alive and do this extra bits of damage. So as long as we can keep that Locust Swarm moving, dodging whatever damage we need to dodge, get our stacks all the way up, and just keep putting haunts out on guys, because if you have haunt and Locust Swarm present on a target, they are going to take a ton more damage, actually 3 times more damage. So it is worth it. That Hex needs to stay up whenever you're running this set, because what Hex will do is it'll actually increase your survivability as well. So right now we're running a little bit behind the timer, and we actually haven't run into an elite pack yet. So I'm not too worried about the timer. That will start to go. You see that ring drops right here? With that, we can just melt through guys a little bit faster that fall into that trap. And we're just going to keep burning through some of these guys. This guy's right here, not important, so I'm just going to go ahead and run up ahead. So that's the other big benefit of that Spirit Walk for you, is that it will allow you to not only regenerate mana, but it will allow you to move forward if you need to close the gap a little bit faster. So if you're getting behind on a rift, you say, okay, I need something to happen here. You can force it and go a little bit faster. As you see, that Spirit Vessel is incredibly useful in keeping me alive. It'll pop continuously. If something happens, you'll see it pop here and there throughout this build. And it just means, okay, we got caught out. We didn't have our stacks up. We didn't have our healing up. Something went wrong. We had to pop it, but it means that we are still alive instead of being dead and waiting on that clock to reset. So it's definitely worth having for this dungeon. So now we still, somehow or other, we've gotten extremely unlucky with this rift, and it happens from time to time. You're just going to catch a bad rift. This conduit pylon is going to help, and I actually see an elite pack moving down on us. So we're just going to try and stay alive, move to the ring, get some damage out, make sure that these guys are all taking a beating right now. As soon as that guy's shield comes off, there it is. We're going to put the plague on him. We're going to put everything on him. We're just going to wail into him as hard as we possibly can And you see there are a ton of these popping out right now. We are now officially back ahead of that timer, and that's where we'll stay for the rest of this run. Unless something just absolutely catastrophic happens, we should be able to keep that breakneck pace up. As you see, even single targets like that just get melted by this build. So all in all, I see why this is the top tier build right now. It is really good. It is kind of disappointing. I know if you watched my videos from earlier on, if you watched the Army of Darkness build in particular, that was one of the big things that I had wanted to set out to prove. I wanted to see if there was one build that was top tier because it was a kind of hive mind mentality, or if there was one build that was top tier because it was just the better build. And it turns out, sadly, I gotta say, that there is just one that is a better build. I will say that as far as the builds go, I have the most fun with the Helltooth, so make sure you check that one out. It is a really neat build, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it, especially if you're geared fairly well. You don't have to be terribly optimized. You can run Greater Rift 60s with it, and you'll have a lot of fun. It performs quite well under pressure. The only thing that those style builds are suffering from right now is relying on your minions a lot. And I like doing that. I like the way that the minions work and everything. I like being the general of my army. And so the Helltooth and the Zunamasa set both really focus on that. But at the same time, your army can really leave you out to dry. So it's worth playing with, and it's a lot of fun. Maybe in a multiplayer setting, if you just want to have some fun with your friends, then it's definitely worth doing. This one is, however, the most sustainable set for itself. It cranks out the most damage. You can see our mana levels are barely dipping right now. We are able to just pump out damage. That rune from the set gives us an extra jump for all of our locust swarms. So with it doing that extra jump constantly, that locust swarm just stays on targets, and you're able to just melt guys through. So it is definitely the better set in my opinion. Doesn't mean it's the most fun. So that's the big thing. What I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this dungeon. I just wanted to talk about it. I know I've done several build videos with Ericur's set, and I just wanted to kind of talk about how you would actually play it. A lot of my videos are very fast. I fast forward through all of the dungeons basically, and I wanted to demonstrate for you in person what it actually is to run these sets. So this is that video for you in case you had any questions as to what order you were running things in and that kind of stuff. Ooh, dodge the lasers. And this is it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Stick around for the rest of the video. We'll see what kind of timing we did on this one, and we'll touch base and let you know what the plans are for the future of video content. Okay, guys, welcome back. As you saw, just a few times there I got caught out a little bit, but I did in fact make it all the way through Greater Rift 70, which is pretty huge in my book. It's one of the hardest ones to start pushing up to. Once you get past this point, you can really start farming just about anything, and you start getting primal gear unlocked. So there's a lot of things that come with completing a Greater Rift 70. So the big things to remember for this one are just trying to get those stacks out constantly. You need to have 10 stacks in order to survive, and you need to have this hex out. After that, the two things that need to happen are you need to get Haunt on as many targets as possible, and you need to get that Locust Swarm moving. After that, guys, just start melting. Just look for your circles that you've got your Templar creating, and you're going to be good to go. As for the future of videos that we're going to be making, now that we have broken that 70 mark, probably you'll see this guy appearing every now and again, but I do believe the next thing I'm going to be working on is trying to get a Demon Hunter up to level 70 and beyond like I've done with this one. I've started seeing some interesting gear drop already, just looking at some other stuff. And I think that will be another really fun one to play. It's going to be a very point-click, bouncy character to play. So I think that'll probably be the next one we have to show. If you guys don't already, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. It's at mswaffordm, or look for Vesuvius Creations. Either one will point you to my Twitter page. You can also head over to Twitch and look for Vesuvius 1300 Gaming, and then we'll be doing this kind of stuff live, and every day we do a multiplayer version either at the end of the session or it's just a multiplayer session outright. So I really thank you guys for your support. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or leave them on my Twitter. Otherwise, you guys have a great day.